CM Punk has confirmed he has suffered a torn tricep and will miss WrestleMania 40 due to that injury. But last night he's written off WWE television after being attacked by Drew McIntyre. Does this give an update as to Drew McIntyre's future with WWE? Plenty of details on that. Plus, Pat McAfee is back full-time in WWE. He will be serving alongside Michael Cole as a commentator on Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins has asked Cody Rhodes to face him at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship instead of facing off against Roman Reigns again. Bayley, the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble match, announces she's going to reveal her WrestleMania opponent Friday night on SmackDown. Andrade officially signs with Monday Night Raw after returning to the WWE at the Royal Rumble. Gunther retains the Intercontinental Championship, whilst the Judgment Day retain the Undisputed Tag Team Championships on Raw. More details on Jordynne Grace's cameo in the Women's Royal Rumble this past Saturday, and Kevin Owens reportedly was dealing with a fractured foot in his United States Championship match against Logan Paul at the Royal Rumble. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about CM Punk, who confirmed the rumors and reports that he was injured in the men's Royal Rumble match this past Saturday and will miss WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. The Royal Rumble match is a transformative one. Alliances are broken, feuds are set up, and at the end of it all, the winner is cemented in history with a guaranteed title shot at WrestleMania. Now, CM Punk was transformed by this past Rumble match on Saturday, but not in a positive way. Punk opened up the latest edition of Monday Night Raw with a sobering announcement regarding a speculated injury. The best in the world confirmed that he tore his right tricep during Saturday's men's Royal Rumble match, and that despite attempts to perform in spite of his injury, he is slated to not only miss the Elimination Chamber events, but also WrestleMania 40 entirely. Despite being expected to miss most, if not all, of this year's road to WrestleMania, Punk did not leave the Tampa crowd wanting. He cut a promo targeted towards the masses and acknowledged the struggles of those with cancer and pedestrian jobs such as teachers and garbage workers. He reassured the WWE Universe of an inevitable return by comparing himself to the Chicago Cubs and claimed that there was always next year. Now, Drew McIntyre then interrupted Punk near the tail end of his speech. McIntyre acknowledged Punk's grit, but said with glee that he would take Punk's place on the road to WrestleMania and live in CM Punk's dream again. McIntyre then assaulted the injured Punk and took interference from the recently returned Sami Zayn to defuse the situation. The segment ended with Zayn helping Punk to his feet. Now, this is not the first time that Punk's tricep has been injured. At All Out back in 2022, Punk tore his left tricep after his match with Jon Moxley. This is the tricep in his other arm, the right arm. Now, when it comes to Drew McIntyre, though, getting involved with CM Punk last night on Raw, it's quite interesting, certainly, because maybe it gives an indication when it comes to possibly what's going to happen regarding Drew McIntyre in the future. Before we get to that, though, as I mentioned, Sami Zayn came to the aid of CM Punk, and he took on the man that took him out back in December 2023 in his first singles match on television last night in the main event of Raw. As I mentioned, Zayn returned in the 2024 men's Royal Rumble match, but he made his return to Raw in singles action last night. Zayn, as I mentioned, appeared earlier on in the evening, saving a legitimately injured CM Punk from an attack from Drew McIntyre, which set up Zayn versus McIntyre in the evening's main event. After an enjoyable match, there was an exciting final sequence, which saw first McIntyre hit a huge white noise on Zayn. However, Sami was able to kick out, much to McIntyre's surprise. Drew McIntyre further cemented his heelish ways, yelling at Sami Zayn near the end of the match, telling him that he just isn't in the same league as him. As Sami Zayn attempted a haluva kick, it appeared McIntyre hit Zayn with a low blow to block the kick, although since he made it seem as though it was inadvertent, the match was not called off. McIntyre then finished Sami Zayn with a claymore and picked up the pinfall victory. Now, as I mentioned, it was a big show when it came to Drew McIntyre last night, taking out CM Punk and possibly maybe giving an indication about Drew McIntyre's future in WWE as well. As I mentioned, during the opening of last night's Raw, Drew McIntyre revealed that he had prayed for the injury to happen, feeling proud that he had exorcised the demon from the locker room. With the pair likely to square off in the future, Dave Meltzer has shared a light wrinkle in the plans on Wrestling Observer Radio, saying, quote, "I would say September is a reasonable return for CM Punk," which was interesting, really interesting, because they set up the big angle with Drew McIntyre last night to be his opponent when he returns, and Drew McIntyre's not under contract past April, and that has not changed, which really surprised me. Now, of course, it had previously been reported that McIntyre hadn't signed a new contract, with his current deal due to expire after WrestleMania. It was originally set to end at the beginning of 2024, but the time added on due to absences last year carries it past WrestleMania and in early April. Per that report, it was noted that under Endeavor, WWE has been handling contract negotiations in order that they were due to expire, although it wasn't specifically mentioned where Drew McIntyre is on that list. Nevertheless, does this give an indication that possibly Drew McIntyre is set to re-sign with WWE, given the fact that they've shot an angle for whenever CM Punk returns? And what did you make of CM Punk's promo? Let me know your thoughts or reaction to all of it in the comment section below. Now, we got a big surprise last night on Monday Night Raw. We've got a brand new commentary team on Monday nights. Of course, Michael Cole recently moved back over to Monday Night Raw, but now he's got a new broadcast partner, fresh off his appearance on commentary for the Royal Rumble, as well as briefly appearing in the Men's Rumble match itself. Former SmackDown commentator Pat McAfee is back and will be on the desk with Michael Cole on Monday nights for Raw moving forward. Just like Royal Rumble, McAfee's music once again kicked off the show on Monday, and he headed down to join Cole, who made the announcement. Former Intercontinental Champion Wade Barrett, who has previously been on the call with Cole as of this recording, it's not been announced by WWE if Barrett's going to be moving to SmackDown to join Corey Graves and replace lead announcer Kevin Patrick, who was let go by the company last week. McAfee, who hosts the Pat McAfee Show throughout the week on ESPN, had previously teased a return to commentary following Patrick's release. The former punter for the Indianapolis Colts began a career with WWE in 2018 as a pre-show analyst for NXT TakeOver events. In 2021, McAfee moved to SmackDown as a color commentator alongside Cole. He's also previously mixed it up in the ring, feuding with Adam Cole, who is now an AEW star when he competed in NXT. McAfee even wrestled at WrestleMania 38, defeating Austin Theory before losing to Vince McMahon in what's likely to be his final WrestleMania appearance in light of his recent resignation amid the allegations against him, and took a stunner from Stone Cold Steve Austin. McAfee took a hiatus from his commentary gig when he joined ESPN's College Game Day back in 2022. So McAfee is now full-time back on Monday Night Raw. Now, Triple H has taken to social media to share a photo of himself and Pat McAfee backstage. He said, quote, "Thrilled to have Pat McAfee every week on Raw. Welcome home, Pat." So Pat McAfee is back, and he's back full-time. Now, Cody Rhodes won the men's Royal Rumble match on Saturday, and at the end of the show, he pointed towards Roman Reigns, who was sitting in the crowd, giving an indication he was going to attempt to finish his story by defeating Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Now, just a few hours ago, Cody Rhodes went back-to-back and became the first back-to-back Royal Rumble winner since Stone Cold Steve Austin 26 years ago. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, as I mentioned, watched the match from their respective suites. Following his win, Rhodes found the suite with the Tribal Chief and pointed at him, indicating that he'd be challenging the undisputed WWE Universal Champion at WrestleMania 40. He confirmed as much in the press conference after the show. But during Raw Monday night, Rhodes was addressing the fans when he was interrupted by the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, who tried to appeal to the American Nightmare by trashing Reigns and his historic title reign. Rollins said the title was created because the fans were tired of Reigns and his shenanigans, referring to the other title as the Hollywood title and the Hulk Hogan title, and of course invoked Cody's father. Quote, "Do you want the Dusty Rhodes title?" Rollins asked. "Do you want the Workhorse Championship, the Blue Collar Championship? Because that's what the World Championship means." Rhodes was already emotional when he came to the ring and became even more so when Rollins spoke. He ultimately told the Visionary that he would think about it, leaving the possibility of Rhodes versus Rollins at WrestleMania 40 on the table. Now, Rollins is dealing with a grade 2 MCL tear along with a partially torn meniscus in his left knee. He is hoping to avoid surgery, which would put him out of action for 3 to 4 months. Last week, he vowed to defend his championship at WrestleMania. Meanwhile, his rumored opponent, CM Punk, suffered an injury of his own at the Royal Rumble and will miss WrestleMania entirely. It remains to be seen if WWE is actually pivoting Rhodes towards chasing Rollins' title rather than Roman Reigns. What do you think is going to happen when it comes to Rhodes' decision for WrestleMania? Think it could change? Let me know your reaction to that as well. Now, Bayley, she won the Women's Royal Rumble match, and did we get an indication as to where she's going to go, which championship she's going to go after at WrestleMania 40? Well, on last night's Raw, the winners of the Royal Rumble matches were on hand as both Cody Rhodes and Bayley appeared. While Rhodes had a celebratory segment that was interrupted by Seth Rollins, Bayley made an appearance with all of Damage Control, noting that Damage Control was making history as they have captured the Women's Tag Team Championships, the Women's Championship, and now the Women's Royal Rumble winner. Bayley celebrated that the stable had made history, and it was all thanks to her for putting the group together. However, Bayley was shortly interrupted by Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley. Their interaction would end up being short as Nia Jax would appear and attack Rhea Ripley on the entrance ramp. After hitting Ripley with multiple leg drops and the Annihilator, Jax left the champion down in one corner as she confronted Bayley in the other. Jax told Bayley that she should choose to challenge her own stablemate Io Sky because Rhea Ripley won't be making it to WrestleMania. Bayley revealed that she planned to announce her decision Friday on SmackDown as the camera showed fellow Damage Control member and WWE Women's Champion Io Sky giving Bayley the side eye. So where do you think Bayley is going to end up? Is she going to challenge for the Women's World Championship depending on who's holding the title? Or is she going to be challenging her own Damage Control stablemate? Is it going to be Bayley versus Io Sky at WrestleMania? Now, Andrade is officially back in WWE and he's officially signed to Monday Night Raw. Andrade, formerly known as Andrade Al Idolo in AEW, made his WWE return at the Royal Rumble. However, it wasn't specified which brand he was aligned with. The reveal came on last night's episode of Raw as both SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis and Raw General Manager Adam Pearce were backstage in a segment with the top free agent. In the segment, Nick Aldis was shown walking in shortly after Andrade signed on the dotted line, pledging allegiance to the Raw brand, confirming that he was not only back in WWE, he was now set for appearances on Raw. He asked Aldis to say hola to Selena Vega on SmackDown before departing the scene as Aldis and Pearce continued their competitive dynamic. Aldis, however, would also need to exit the scene as his phone was ringing, which he noted to Pearce was a call from none other than Bron Breakker. Now, the NXT superstar made a strong appearance in the Royal Rumble match, making several big eliminations, so could Bron Breakker be on his way to Friday nights? Now, we had a couple of title defenses last night on Raw, one being the Intercontinental Championship, the other being the Undisputed Tag Team Championship. The Intercontinental Championship and Undisputed Tag Team titles weren't defended at the Royal Rumble, but Gunther, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest didn't leave the Tampa Bay area without a fight. Both titles were successfully defended on Monday's edition of Raw from the Amil Arena in Tampa, Florida, and while all the champions ultimately retained, both matches were extremely competitive. To begin the night of title defenses, Balor and Priest took on DIY during Raw's commercial-free first hour. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano made a good showing of themselves, narrowly escaping numerous attempts by the Judgment Day members to end the fight quickly, including Priest sending Gargano into the announce desk face first. Ciampa attempted to roll Priest up when he got back into the ring, but he kicked out and tagged in Balor. A razor's edge to Ciampa followed, with Balor delivering the coup de grace for the victory. Now, the New Day's feud with Imperium seemingly culminated with Kofi Kingston getting a shot at the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. Gunther started the match off hot, and Kingston wasn't able to get much offense in during the first half of the encounter. He attempted to battle back with a knee to the champion's face, as well as sending him into the ring post and announce desk. At one point, Kingston flew from the ring barricade to the steel steps, where Gunther was positioned in an attempt to take him out. After a flurry of offense from Kingston and several false finishes in the middle of the ring, Gunther hit a powerbomb and pinned Kingston for the victory. Xavier Woods came out to check on Kingston following the match, but the team was beaten down by a returning Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser as Gunther looked on. So the titles stay on the champions. Speaking of champions, the TNA Knockouts World Champion Jordynne Grace made a very impressive showing and really impressed those in WWE in the Women's Royal Rumble match on Saturday. Now, though he didn't use the verbiage, and Paul Levesque said he doesn't like this term as well, Paul Levesque opened the forbidden door at the Royal Rumble when TNA Knockouts World Champion Jordynne Grace entered the Women's Royal Rumble match. Grace had a strong showing in her WWE debut before being eliminated by Bianca Belair. Now, PW Insider is reporting that WWE was the party that got the ball rolling on the cameo and reached out to TNA, noting that the idea may have come from Levesque himself. The deal was said to have come together really quickly as an outside-the-box idea to surprise fans. However, no TNA officials were at the WWE event in Tampa. Scott D'Amore was on Chris Jericho's cruise, while Tommy Dreamer, despite being in Tampa, didn't attend the Royal Rumble. Although Grace has teased future TNA/WWE involvement, PW Insider noted that there are no definitive plans regarding such as that yet, though people in WWE were reportedly blown away by her performance. Grace's Royal Rumble cameo is just the latest of a handful of interpromotional crossovers for WWE in recent years. Mickie James also made an appearance at the Royal Rumble in 2022 when she was the Knockouts champion. Shinsuke Nakamura worked the Great Muta's retirement match for Pro Wrestling Noah in 2023, and Charlie Dempsey made an excursion to All Japan Pro Wrestling at the beginning of the year. WWE has had positive relations with TNA, specifically during this decade, allowing talents like AJ Styles and others to make video segment appearances for anniversary events. Another former Knockouts World Champion, Naomi, also made her return at the Royal Rumble. She dropped the title to Jordynne Grace earlier in the month before finishing up with TNA. Finally, speaking of the Royal Rumble, Kevin Owens reportedly worked his United States Championship match with a fractured foot. Now, at the Royal Rumble, Logan Paul defeated Kevin Owens via disqualification to retain the United States Championship. This result came after Owens used Logan Paul's brass knuckles and was caught out by the referee. Post-match, KO attacked Paul and laid him out with a powerbomb through the commentary table. According to a new report by F4W Online, Kevin Owens worked his match with Logan Paul at the Royal Rumble with a fractured foot injury. The report notes that Owens fractured his foot on the January 15 edition of SmackDown in his match with Santos Escobar. Despite the injury, Owens had still been on the SmackDown episodes doing physical angles in the lead-up to the Royal Rumble match to build up against Logan Paul. However, Saturday's match at the Rumble was KO's first official match since suffering the injury. But there you go, guys. This latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.